One-time OnePlus co-founder Kyle Pei has created plenty of hype around his latest startup. Nothing though is set to launch its first device, the aptly named Phone 1, later this summer, and here's what to expect. And we're all going to be hoping it's a little bit of something. Thanks for watching 9to5Google here on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and then tap the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. It's a mystery just what Pei's vision of a modern Android phone should look like, but with a little bit of digging and some nous we can immediately rule out a few things. Firstly, there is absolutely no indication that we'll see a foldable phone, nor are we going to see any outlandish essential gem style hardware which was cancelled before that company went defunct. It's also going to be interesting just to see what Nothing does with the Essential brand, especially as they own that now, and as well, a former Essential team has been built called Awesome, which is also planning an upcoming smartphone launch for later this year. We're interested to see just how these two stack up. For now though, just what Nothing has in store for the Essential brand is practically unknown. That said, Pei has stated that there is no alternative to Apple in a few interviews, at least on the Android side of the fence. While we question this comment somewhat, given that Samsung offers its own product lineup that interacts and works with each other in a similar manner to iOS, this could hint at some sort of future plans for the Nothing Phone 1 and the wider Nothing lineup and ecosystem. Essential was working on a smart speaker, so maybe we'll see that resurrected at some point in the future. At this point in time, the Nothing Ear 1 earbuds could be considered the first steps into a Nothing ecosystem, as they are the only hardware available from the firm, and of course they could be an indication of what to expect from the smartphone hardware based upon their design. Sadly, save a potentially staged image of the Nothing CEO Pei holding a prototype or device prototype alongside Qualcomm head Cristiano Amon at MWC 2022, we only know that this phone is going to stick to the traditional smartphone paradigm, at least for its first release. However, there are plenty of abstract teaser images out there from the company that hint at the hardware features. While it's not 100% clear, an image showing outline placeholders certainly hints at a fairly common rear panel layout, with what appears to be an upper left camera nodule, a wireless charging coil and battery wiring, which we'd imagine would be for some sort of fast charging. We must stress this is pure speculation on our part, but Pei has said that the design itself is unlike anything you've seen before. There are plenty of outlandish concepts online showing clear smartphones, and it's something that we could potentially see given that the Ear 1 earbuds do adhere to this design, and while it's certainly an interesting look, it is worth noting that transparent smartphones are actually nothing new. One of the most recent high-profile examples was that of the Xiaomi Mi 8 Pro, which was released back in 2019, and if we have seen it before, then this doesn't quite match up with Pei's comments. It's also worth noting high-profile team members from the likes of Dyson and the watchful eye of Teenage Engineering have also joined the team and will undoubtedly shape the Nothing Phone 1 aesthetic, and it's something we're very looking forward to see. There's been little shared or even spoken about the potential camera capabilities of this upcoming device. It could be that the design and software though are set to be core focus points rather than the camera itself, and that would certainly follow or at least mimic the OnePlus launch journey where the camera kind of takes a backseat to the internals and the overall software experience, and it might actually be enough to convince one-time fans of Kyle Pei's former venture to jump ship. That's how we are hoping for some camera information, at least in the coming months. A previously announced partnership with Qualcomm also means that the Nothing Phone 1 is definitely set to be powered by a Snapdragon processor. However, during the Truth live stream, no details were actually shared upon the positioning of this hardware. This means it's still unclear if it will offer a flagship processor, such as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which has been used throughout 2022 by many flagship Android phones, or a slightly lesser chipset like many affordable Poco devices which have launched over the past few years. Recent chip shortages could also play a major part in what processor Nothing's first smartphone will ship with, but at this point we simply don't know for certain. That said, should Nothing be more focused upon the software experience, a great example is that of the 2020 Pixel 5. It launched with modest internals, but retained the premium feel that is often associated with made by Google smartphones. It also has a way to reproduce or reduce production costs without a major performance hit. And this could mean using a Snapdragon 700 series chip or a Snapdragon 800 series processor rather than the top tier Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 without too much of a performance hit. Special attention though was paid to the always on display features during the teaser keynote. That means that almost without a doubt, the Nothing Phone 1 will ship with an AMOLED display, as this feature is not possible on LCD panels. So to wrap that up into something a little neater, let's play devil's advocate for a moment here. We know for certain that the Nothing Phone 1 will ship with a Qualcomm Snapdragon processor, it'll come with a lightweight build of Android, and there's bound to be an AMOLED display. Of course, while it's not exactly illuminating, it's enough to start speculating, if you will. We also know that the Nothing Phone 1 will run Android, and Pei has said that it's designed to deliver a fast and smooth and personal experience, and this is being coined Nothing OS. A recent taster of the upcoming launcher hints that it will be a clean, unobtrusive experience that mimics the Pixel launcher. The iconography, font and general experience is fairly close to what you'll find on the Pixel series, but it's not clear how Android 12 and Android 13 will differ on this third-party skin because the launcher beta is incredibly bare bones even for an early preview. There is practically, well, nothing, excuse the pun there, here to really sink your teeth into. However, looking at the design for a moment, if a monochrome aesthetic will be adhered to, it will be interesting to see Nothing's take on material hue and dynamic colour, because at this stage, it's non-existent. One would also wager that to offer a fast and smooth experience, a high refresh rate display will be a priority for such a device here. In the past, we've seen flagship OnePlus phones offer almost outlandish amounts of RAM as well alongside a flagship processor. A high RAM allocation would certainly ensure that the Nothing Phone 1 offers a smooth experience when switching from app to app, while a 90 or 120Hz screen ensures things such as animations and interactions would feel slick and would definitely fit in with those comments from Pei himself. Some of the fonts and widgets certainly offer what we describe as a monochrome digital retro minimalist look, and during the Truth keynote we saw some of the UI concepts, recorder app, and some of the potential lock screen designs. Sure, it's different, but there isn't much here that really differs too drastically from what we've seen before on other launchers and third-party Android skins, so if you're hoping for an overhaul, then we think this will be light to say the least. On top of that, pre-installed apps are also going to be in the firing line for the Nothing Phone 1, as there's said to be 40% less apps on the phone itself by default. Given the bloat has started to creep in almost all third-party Android skins, this could be a core selling feature for those wanting an experience that is an ultra lightweight build of Android and just a few steps above AOSP builds, and something similar to what you'll find on Pixel phones. On top of that promise, 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of regular security patches have been guaranteed. This matches the rest of the Android space, but still is going to pale in comparison to the likes of Samsung and Google. It could be a stumbling block for people who want to keep their phone long term, but so long as these updates are prompt, we don't think it would be as much of a major problem if this phone is priced correctly. And that leads us nice and neatly to the release date and pricing information, or at least what is known so far. And at this stage, sadly, we only know that the Nothing Phone 1 is set to be at least unveiled or released sometime this summer. An actual launch event day, pre-order or even shipping date hasn't even been mentioned. With the way the flagship's set to launch in late 2022, the device itself could face some serious competition if the proposed summer unveil does manage to slip into autumn or fall. Arguably the most important aspect of the entire package is going to be the pricing, and it's going to be heavily dependent on where this device is positioned within the wider Android marketplace. Should it be a flagship Android phone, we'd imagine that it could very much easily reach that 4-figure asking price, but that would be a tough ask for people out there looking to buy a brand new phone and buy into a brand new ecosystem. More modest pricing would undoubtedly help build fan loyalty, generate interest and hype, and it's one way to guarantee that certain foibles, should they exist, which we'd imagine they will, given this is a first run smartphone, are going to be less of a deal breaker for buyers out there. So that's more than just a little bit of information about the upcoming or the first Nothing phone. I want to ask you, do you think we need a new player to shake up the market, or is this just merely another hype generation exercise from PR master Carl Pei? Can they back it up with an excellent product, or even just a product that will get many people talking? Tell us what you think. I also want to hear your worst or your most terrible Nothing jokes down in the comment sections too. The worst one gets, well, nothing. Until next time though, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.